If you ever needed a bigger reason to visit or revisit Rise of the TMNT, sit down for a bit, let me catch you up to speed. This was a Patreon request, which I plan to open up in limited slots throughout the year. Please look out for the community posts because they're not always going to be open. The better reason to get Patreon at the moment, though, is that even if your specific request doesn't go through because they're not available, you can influence not just the channel, but the project that I've been working on for 5 months, which at this point, at the time of recording this, is not out yet. In addition, there will be polls. You will get a lot of times to provide feedback and input, even if it isn't a specific request. I guarantee no matter what month it is, you'll always be about 2 to 3 months ahead as far as knowing what's up with the channel and with this project. So if you go to alphaj.show/Patreon, sign up, be a part of the inner circle of the Armada today. Our adventure starts in Middle Park Zoo. The Turtles are investigating Baron Draxum, who's seen kidnapping animals and humans. It's here where we see the two objects of focus, an Ooskito, whose insect-like nature while small is incredibly vicious, being able to change humans or animals into a mutated version of themselves. And on the other side, a Mystic Metal, which would be the actual focus within this episode.
We are sick of your whole mutating humans dealio. We are kicking you out of New York. We did it.
Oh, well, clearly the sight of my disco ball scared him off.
I still can't get over the fact that this is John Cena. Man went from giving attitude adjustments to giving inflection adjustments as a voice actor, and no one saw potential in that before here? I know that he was doing stuff with WWE, like with Scooby-Doo for example, but that's totally different from him voicing a character that's not connected to him as a wrestler or sports entertainer. There are two major reasons to watch Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even if you aren't a fan or watcher of any former TMNT shows: the animation and the dynamic that the group shares. We'll get more into animation in a second, but the episode is filled to the brim with a very casual, laid-back approach to dialogue, where all 4 characters feel very natural, very low-key, and not afraid to toss a quip here or there. Contrast this with their 2012 counterparts, which lets things breathe a lot more, was quite serious with many of the characters in comparison, and definitely stuck a lot closer to how heroes conventionally would speak, even if they are teenagers and turtles. Here, it sounds like a Discord conversation that someone transcribed and converted into a 22-minute action episode. And note that length, 22 minutes. This appears to be a special, the 4th half-hour special of the show. We get 2 characters who totally didn't have a lot of controversies thrown their way when the show was coming out: Splinter and April. Splinter, originally going to lounge and relax as he normally does, sees April's shirt and things start to get a little weird.
That is a curious symbol.
The logo for the shoe store I work at? The Foot Shack?
The Foot Shack? Perhaps I should drop by.
This is because that icon represents a great evil, the Foot Clan, a faction dedicated to finding mystic ninja armor to resurrect the armor of a great evil power, Shredder. That mystic metal connects to a great armor, which is called the Kiro Yuroi. Except, well, you would roll your R's during that, but I can't roll my R's, so we're gonna talk about this armor, which is made of that same mystic metal that Baron Draxum has dedicated time to find, as even though all of the pieces are broken, the individual pieces of the armor can repair itself and then turn back into the great armor. Splinter decides to go against April's wishes and not only infiltrate the Foot Shack, but in addition to that, turn into what he deems are the kids of today. It's actually a funny scene given that Splinter is not only not self-aware, but also incredibly undeserving of the number of smug gestures he has within this episode. We get to one of my favorite scenes within this episode, the sewer scene. Splinter is climbing up as the turtles are climbing down, seeing that the turtles want to keep the pursuit of anything mystic away from their sensei, and said sensei wants to keep the Foot Clan and their pursuit of mystic things away from the turtles. Even though they are investigating the exact same thing, they have to withhold information from each other. For protection, obviously. Oh, and there's also this part.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum.
I can't believe we fooled them.
I cannot believe I fooled them.
As someone who has been looking into ergonomic options, I both feel his pain and also found the sound of bones crackings to just be hilarious. With Donny on the lookout, they decide that using the turtle tank to cover as much ground as they can is the optimal way of finding more mystic metal, and thus finding Barum Draxum to defeat him for good. With more quips, particularly between Michelangelo and Donatello, said mutant bird or magpie swoops in and grabs Donny, like me when I'm picking up Chinese and I need to grab an extra couple of packets of soy sauce, because I need to do that. Remind me. The episode then does a good job of interweaving the two adventures in one, given that they both have the same end goal. The show does take a focus on Splinter's pursuit of the Foot Shack, which is a funny name, and I can't tell you why. Don't make the reference, Jay. Don't make the reference. Just, you know what? Let's just move on. Whew. Nearly said it. This is actually better for the story given that we can use the calmer side to explain more about the Foot Clan, the mystic metal, the Kuro Yoro-E, and Shredder, as well as the interactions between April and Splinter. The main turtles are actually put on the sidelines, chasing the bird until they're actually needed within the story. And given that this is primarily just action shots when it comes to the turtles fighting the bird, we can easily save a lot of what I feel about the action towards the latter half of the episode because that's when they all meet together and fight. In fact, that kind of comes with the advantage of the 22-minute duration, being that they can take the opportunity to explain things more. Add on to the fact that the TMNT franchise has gone on for so long that you would be rewarding fans by explaining how this new incarnation handles certain lore elements that come with each show.
My name is Randall. I am an average teenage boy. Huh?
What? Oh man, you are totally gonna get me fired. You don't look anything like a teenager.
You know, got to love the out-of-touch, outdated, undeservedly confident father figure. Of course, April sees Splinter as just a whack old rat being paranoid about her completely normal job. However, when the duo that runs the Foot Shack enter the place, being Foot Lieutenant and Foot Brute, I'm pretty sure you can figure out who's who, Splinter goes crazy, leading into April having to hold him like a screaming infant. All of this, I need more. Of course, his disguise works because it's funny. However, the episode doesn't insult your intelligence by doing things such as showing the character's disguise falling off or making it unarguably clear that this is a poor disguise. By leaving it the chance that within the bounds of a funny cartoon, this can suffice as a proper disguise, that's what keeps it funny, by keeping it believable within the context of it being a cartoon rather than insulting your intelligence and hiding behind the fact that it's trying to be a funny cartoon. Take notes of Power for Gary. So after April doing her best Twitter impression, disregards the argument, decides to take measures into her own hands, removes the rat from the premises, and then, not satisfied, decides to chase said rat to make sure that he is indeed removed from the premises. I know why the story needs April to chase Splinter, because they end up hearing about the Foot Clan's plan. I just don't know why April cares about what Splinter does once he's outside of the store. Her entire goal was just to remove Splinter, not to follow Splinter once he's removed. You wanted him out, now he's out, so get back to work.
Behold, warriors of the Foot Clan! The Foot Clan have turned into shoe salesmen.
I told you.
Which we will use in today's acquisition.
Acquisition of what? High-heeled flip-flops?
Throughout this entire scene where April and Splinter are hiding, spying on the operation, imagine this scenario. You listening to this right now. In addition to being a ninja and liking this video, you're spying on a group of ninjas, a group that outnumbers and possibly overpowers you, and in addition, said ninjas are trained to be spatially aware, and given that your entry into the facility isn't a two-way entrance, you're in trouble if you get caught. Would you speak and move quiet as a mouse, not wanting anyone to even think that anyone is where you're hiding? Or would you speak like you're doing a YouTube top trending vlog? I'm not saying that they do the latter, but whatever they're doing, it's way too loud. Like, they shouldn't be speaking like how I'm speaking right now. And for some reason, the Foot Clan actually pretends to be feet because they pretend like they don't have ears. Every time through this segment, I was waiting for someone to hear the disrespectfully loud presence of Splinter and April, and it never happened. Consider my immersion under attack in this scene.
A mystic armor that swallowed the soul of the madman who wore it. When he was finally defeated, The armor was scattered around the globe. For centuries, my ancestors made sure none of the pieces fell into the hands of the Foot Clan.
Those guys? I work at an evil shoe store?
I did not believe the legend either.
We'd also learned that Splinter within this incarnation was a lot more chillax about the entire endeavor of protecting the mystic metal from forming into the Kiroi Yori. He went more into films, and it was fame that drove him rather than tradition and the threat of Shredder. And you know what? That's a nice change of pace. It fits the character we see here. Very well put together. And most people who have watched the show that I've spoken with would agree that the art style and the different ways of presenting these ideas are top-notch. Splinter fumbles falling on top of 2 Foot Clan soldiers. He then takes away their disguise, being 2 for 2 unbelievable disguises in this episode. Then we see a very flawless way of interweaving both ends of the story, as April and Splinter debate over who gets to investigate the Foot Clan on the inside. Undercover, the Turtles are still struggling with the mutated avian. However, watch how they very cleanly, without any destruction, move things back over to the Turtles.
Hey, bro!
We did it! We beat that thing!
Too bad that wasn't the mission.
Oh, right, Mystic Metal. You know, when we were plummeting, I saw some a few blocks away.
Yes! To the tank! Donny, back on top!
Did I say without any destruction? I meant, holy crap, that looked awesome. With the bird defeated, Donatello can invest more time into the main mission, finding out about that mystic metal. I noticed that within this 22-minute special, Leo takes a backseat, which is really jarring given that I'm a big fan of the 2012 version, and in that version, Leo was the leader. He was a big part of many episodes and adventures that involved the Turtles. Splinter, not exactly thrilled to see April disobey the orders to stay, would use her hyperactive, loud, and proud demeanor to distract the Foot Clan so Splinter can grab the mystic metal, which is hidden in a pretty clever spot. Also, this might be the New Yorker in me, but subways are just a great spot for everything. Battles, chases, weddings. Yes, weddings. I'm getting married in an empty abandoned subway, but later, because luckily, right now, I'm married to my work.
What?
And he sticks the landing.
My sons.
Mystic Metal!
Just as I planned. Wait, what are the Flameheads doing here?
Although perceived as fighting on the side of evil, Splinter feels a great sense of worry for the safety of his boys, but also a great sense of guilt and shame for not wanting to take on the threat of the Foot Clan seriously in their pursuit of finding the mystic metal to make the armor that brings back Shredder. It's here where we cleverly see that he's faced with an external and internal dilemma, and his character finally gets to shine rather than just being the bumbling rat fool, which, while funny, seeing that underlayer sort of kickstart the last chunk of this episode was honestly phenomenal. April takes the mystic metal and decides to run with it while both sides are fighting, but even she can't escape this situation. Being the only Foot Clan soldier left, the Brute and Lieutenant essentially force Splinter to confront his own sons unknowingly. This leads into an amazing fight scene that I really can't put into words. I cannot put this into justice. Like, I can talk about it for 30 minutes and that wouldn't even be doing justice to how great this scene is and how great the animation is and how great the fight scenes in Rise of the TMNT is. And I really have to come back and talk about Rise as a whole at some point, and I will. It's just on the long list. The list gets longer and longer. I'm working on it. Like, it's like a good joke that hopefully the editor is going to put on a screen as I talk about everything else. Within this period of time, Splinter shows how arrogant the boys are, and even though they were able to defeat the Foot Clan isn't exactly a hard foe that could match the skill that the Turtles had. Splinter, however, gives a reality check to the Turtles in this fight, showing that they have a lot to work on.
We are working together, except for this one, stealing our property. April! Unbind the traitor, so I can show her how we treat people who betray the Foot!
Splinter, thinking quickly, decides to disguise teaching a lesson to the traitor April as a sneak attack on Draxum, but unfortunately, his back had a different plan. It's here where once fixing his back in the only way that he knows how leads the Turtles into figuring out that the Foot Clan soldier that successfully 1v4'd them is no random ninja, but Splinter, aka Lu Jitsu, whom the Foot Clan, Brute, and Lieutenant fangirl over. Despite another short fight, they'd ultimately end up leaving surviving, but not before losing the mystic metal that Draxum and the Foot Clan would later retrieve, and it would show that they're slowly building out this armor for later on within the show. It's an amazing end to the adventure where despite grounding the turtles, they understand that there is a bigger battle to come now that everybody's on the same page. So as you can see here, we honestly slept on this show. This was a fantastic episode, and I can't wait to cover Rise of the TMNT in a much longer fashion where I can talk a lot about how the show is and really just give it the appreciation that it deserves. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it if you're into action, if you like the 2012 series, if you like comedy, if you want to see one of the best things that Nickelodeon has put out in recent times. Anywho, make sure to go to alphaj.show/Patreon to support me, support the channel. There's a whole bunch of perks there. You'll know it when you see it. Until then, thank you so much for your time. Take care. Alpha out.